Hi everybody, this is Sean Green, Wasatch Group Real Estate. How you doing? Hey, today we're going to be covering step 3 in our 5-step process of successfully completing the HUD transaction. So at this point, you should already have gone through steps 1 and 2. Step 1 was the process of emailing the completed contract to the asset manager, and you will have received an executed contract back via email. Once you've done this, and step 2 was the delivering the earnest money to the listing agent, then you're ready to move on to step 3. Step 3 is a very important process. It relates to inspections, and it can be the inspection process can be very smooth if you pay attention to the steps that we're going to outline here. It can also be very stressful if this is glazed over and not given the proper attention. The steps are very important in this step. So anyway, first and foremost, we have a deadline on inspection contingency. One thing that you're going to want to be very aware of, I'm going to skip down to the bottom real quick, is that the inspection contingency only applies to owner-occupied buyers. So I'm down here in red. If the buyer is an investor and is not owner-occupying it, they have no inspection contingency. So that's very important, and you need to know they will lose their earnest money if they choose to cancel the contract. Again, owner-occupied buyers have an inspection contingency. Investor buyers do not. So the owner-occupied buyers do have a 15-day contingency. This is 15 days from the date that HUD executed the sales contract. So if you pull up your HUD executed contract, you're going to see in the bottom right-hand corner, I believe, a date that HUD executed the contract. You have 15 days from that date for the buyer to complete their inspections. On HUD properties, the utilities are not activated, and to activate utilities, permission needs to be granted by HUD to the buyer's agent in advance. So no utilities should be activated until permission to activate utilities has been received from HUD. This is really, really important. So the process is relatively straightforward. When you have satisfied both step 1 and step 2, you're going to open this link, this utility activation form link right here, and it's going to take you to the what they call the FSM, or the Field Services Manager. They're the one who maintain the property and keep it in good shape. And anyway, you're going to fill out this form. It's going to take them about 48 hours to process it, and then they will email you back and they'll tell you what utilities are approved to be turned on. So maybe they'll come back and they'll say, okay, you can activate electrical, gas, and water. Or maybe they'll come back and say, well, you can activate electrical and gas, but no water. Okay? Very, very important that these instructions are followed. If a particular utility is activated and damage comes because of it, and they specifically told you not to activate it, then there is going to be some financial response there. Well, there will be financial responsibility, and it's the buyer's agent or the buyer that's going to bear that, and we don't want to see that happen. So once you've received their permission and they've told you exactly what utilities are okay to be turned on, then you can go ahead, and so after permission to activate utilities has been approved, the buyer or the buyer's agent can then call the utility company to activate the utilities. After those utilities are active, you can have your home inspector in there, and he can do a full inspection. Just know that when you or your buyer is calling to activate the utilities, any connection fees, so we're on the first bullet here, any connection fees or other associated with costs, or other associated costs with regards to utility activation will be at the buyer's expense. HUD doesn't pay the utilities. They don't pay the activation fees. That's all a buyer expense. In cases where utility deficiencies exist, permission to activate utilities may be denied. So know that, and alternate testing, if available, should be used. If permission to turn on the water has been denied, an air pressure test can be performed. This is how HUD initially checks out the plumbing system. They don't activate the water either. If the property passes HUD's initial air pressure test, then they will allow the buyer to activate the water. If it does not pass the test, then you are not allowed to activate the water. So just to kind of give you a little background. So if the buyer during their due diligence is told that they cannot activate the water, but they want to perform an air pressure test, they're really going to want to contact a licensed plumber, someone that's experienced with the process. And here is that link I just checked. Links you to some instructions on how to perform an air pressure test. This will give a reasonable idea as to the condition of the plumbing and how quickly it's losing pressure. So that will be the only testing available if the field service manager says you cannot activate the water. So pay special attention to that, and if they say do not activate the water, do not activate the water, but no, an air pressure test is something that the buyer can do if they choose to. And then one more little bullet just to review that the inspection contingency only applies to owner-occupied buyers. Investors have no inspection contingency and will lose their earnest money if they choose to cancel the contract. That is the gist of step 3. So pay special attention to this. Be sure all the deadlines or all the dates and processes are followed, and you should have a nice, smooth inspection contingency period. So as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to call my team in my office. Thank you very much.